Hello, Medical Magnet students. You're watching Healthy Living Videos with
Ashvia
and Alexandra. We know that it's hard to come back to the new school year because of summer break, so we will be giving you tips to transition better into the school year.
Let's get into it. The most important thing that you can do is to create a system that works for you. There are so many things that you need to keep track of: homework, extracurriculars, anything that you're committed to, really. So some people stay organized by using a physical planner or a digital planner to write everything down, while others use a calendar to accomplish the same thing, just in a different format. We will be going into depth about the ways that you can try to stay organized, and you are welcome to take our tips or create a system that works for you.
Hi everyone, it's Alexandra, and I'm going to talk about my study system and how I check the hours that I've studied. So typically, I first watch videos of the concept of the topic first, to get a visual overview of what I'm learning, so I can put the pieces together because I'm a visual learner. Second, I would retrieve the memory by writing it down on a piece of paper, as in all of the memory, everything that I've remembered so far, or I would teach it to a friend if we have the same class together. And third, I would either do a self-test or write an exam myself, or I would do my homework as a test. Typically, those show how much you know about the topic already and what you still need to work on. Just remember that everyone is a different learner, so being a visual learner may not be for you, but it is for me, and it helps me understand the material better. Just know yourself first before implementing all of these, but you should also keep an open mind whenever you want to try something new. And typically, you should also try writing down your assignments on a planner or jotting down just somewhere so you remember it better. In my opinion, I feel like writing it down in a Google document is not as efficient for me, but it could be for you because a lot of people are technologically dependent on electronics on that case. But I believe that if you write it down, it helps you remember better. So yeah, just try to keep an open mind. Yeah, that's all that I want to enforce. You can try my study system or Ashvia's. Just know that there's so many options for you to use throughout this whole school year, and you got this. So yeah, bye.
Hi everyone. So I'm going to be talking about how I personally manage my time for school and for just my life in general. So the first thing that you want to do before you try to schedule anything at all is to calculate how much time you actually have to do things that aren't eating, sleeping, and commuting and going to school. So for me, I have to consider how long I stay at school, how long my commute is, when I sleep, and then any other commitments that I have. So for me, that means that I go to school early because of MMED Board, which is why I'm making this video at all. And I get there around 7:30, so that doesn't allow for much time, I guess, for studying in the morning, but it's okay because I can make up for it during another time. And then I also unfortunately leave school a little bit later because I have tennis, and I leave around 5 to 7 depending on whether I have a game that day or it's just practice. But my commute is around 20 minutes, which means at the very latest I will be getting home around 7:30, and I give myself about an hour and a half leeway time to shower and eat when I get home. So that would mean at the very, very, very latest, I can start my homework at about 9, and my cutoff for bed is 11. I stop all work at 11 so I can get ready for bed, which unfortunately means that I have about 2 hours every day to do homework, which works out pretty well this year for me, and you'll find out why later. But that means during the weekdays are not the best days to study and do anything besides just get what needs to get done. But on weekends, I have practically all day, every day to myself to figure out how I want to spend that time. So factoring the weekends, I have around at least 26 hours a week to do what I need to do. So some weeks I have more, in which I can schedule more that week, but for tennis season, that's going to be my amount of time that I have per week to get what I need to do done. So what do we do with those hours? Well, you're going to have at least one class that you need to study for, unfortunately. Most of us have more than one. I think around the average would probably be 3 to 4 for everyone that's watching this video. But I only have 2 classes that I need to study for this year. Senior year! But I was a little bit ambitious. I was trying to keep my weekends free this year. So I scheduled all my study days during the weekdays, which is not a smart move. I can't keep up with that. So I'm gonna have to move them to the weekend. So one day for AP Calculus and one day for AP Physics. Those are like the classes that I must study for. Sometimes I can also try to schedule a study day when I don't, the days of the week that I don't have a game and it's just practice. Or maybe sometimes I don't have practice that day and I can do a lot more. And in addition to all that studying, you also have homework that needs to be done. And to get homework done as efficiently as possible, I list everything out that I need to do on ClickUp, which is just like Notion, just it's not blocked by LUC Wi-Fi, so it's easier to access during school. So I have separate folders for each class, and there's a lot of homework to do, so I have to keep it fresh in a couple of different ways. So the first way I keep it fresh is by timing myself. So the way I time myself is I roll 2 d20s. I actually have physical dice, but I'll show you how you can do it online instead on the screen right now. So you take 2 d20s, which are dice with 20 sides, and you roll both of them and it should add up the numbers for you. So for example, for whatever assignment, I have blank amount of time, whatever's on the screen, to do that assignment. And I'll roll the dice for any assignment that I'm not really motivated to do, but timing myself to make it so I could get it done quickly. Another thing I like to do is I put on music for things that don't require me to read or do any critical thinking. Like making flashcards where I'm just copying the definition and the term straight from the textbook or from like notes that my teacher or that I did. And then that'll make it a little bit more fun. You can also play with your ambiance. You can study at the library, you can study at different places in your house. If you have that option, I like to put my wax warmer on to get a nice scent going, make me motivated, and I make sure to have my water next to me so I stay hydrated. And then that's about it. So you are always welcome to try out different things and see how you can make homework less of a drag and maybe even a little bit of fun. Catch you on the flip side.
As important as it is to stay organized this school year, it's also important to take care of yourself. So how should you manage your school year and how should you manage your stress? Change is a big factor in everyone's daily lives, and if you're a freshman, it's probably hard for you to transition throughout this high school year knowing that you've just graduated from middle school. So you'll have more responsibilities and workload that you'll have to manage and much more commitments such as clubs and sports. So the big idea is to not be overwhelmed by those tasks, and every student has different priorities and personal lives, so it's important to keep and manage those in a good manner. And your teachers are always there to support you whenever you need it. So it's extremely important. I mean, I was the type of person to not talk to my teachers, but now it's become my daily source of help because they're the ones that know everything and they are much more wiser in the concepts or tasks that you need help with.
And then a tip for everyone is to take time for yourself to avoid burnout. I suffered with this a lot last year. I was always burnt out. I think I'm still a little bit burnt out, but you know what? We're making do. So I'll be doing this tip along with any of you who decides to do it. So we talked about calculating your hours and figuring out how much time you have during the week to do everything. So what I want you to do is to take one of those hours each week, at least one. If you can manage more, then props to you. But take 1 hour a week, at least for you. Set a timer that day that you're going to take that hour and do not do any work that time. Take that time for you. Play a video game. Do some self-care. Some skincare. I like to play a video game. Sometimes I like to watch a good show that I really enjoy during that time. But depending on you, you can figure out what works for you in that time. And depending on how much time you have during the week, then 1 hour may seem like too much, or it may feel like it's not enough for you. So you should definitely adjust depending on how much time you have during the week. But the main point is to schedule time for yourself so that you can go into the next week or like the rest of the week refreshed and with a better mindset.
We really, really, really want you guys to follow this tip because I am a prime example of burnout, and this is not something that you guys should ever suffer from because it will contribute to lack of sleep and etc. And you may think that staying up that late was not that bad, but once you get into the habit of it, it will accumulate, and there's this thing called sleep debt, and once you get home you'll feel very lethargic and everything, and it's just every day, and you'll be late, and it'll just have a lot of consequences that you wouldn't expect. So it's important to
Take care of yourself.
And be organized about like your personal life and your school life because both are equally important.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching Healthy Living. We'll see you next month.
Bye.